Thank you. Well, as always, it's a real pleasure to be able to join you and to celebrate our award winners. I'm slightly frightened by the concept that it's already my 16th.
It was the type of moment the palace would never want the public to witness. Quick, premeditated, and dripping with years of simmering resentment. Behind the velvet draperies and gilt-framed paintings, Princess Anne made a bold move that stunned courtiers into stillness. In a single decisive stroke, she removed one of Queen Camilla's royal titles, a title that had been ingrained in Camilla's public identity, status, and standing by the king's side. The shock came not just from the event itself, but also from the perpetrator. Princess Anne, the royal family's no-nonsense workhorse, has always been admired for her dedication and discipline. But she's also known for her unwavering opinions, which she refuses to sugarcoat, even when dealing with her own family. To royal watchers, this was more than just etiquette. This was personal. Years of tension between Anne and Camilla, ranging from chilly stares at state functions to whispered confrontations behind closed doors, had now erupted in broad public view, and the consequences were immediate. How did Camilla react? Blistering. Those close to her say she was taken aback, ashamed, and resolved to find out who had secretly supported Anne's decision. Buckingham Palace's corridors, which had always echoed with polite formality, suddenly felt like a war. But the issue everyone is asking is whether this was a virtuous act of royal discipline or a premeditated attack in a long-running feud between two of the monarchy's most powerful women. The verdict was delivered with the accuracy of a royal sword stroke, quick, sharp, and irreversible. It came not as a big spectacle, but as a quiet, precisely phrased notification, the kind intended to conceal the sting beneath layers of procedure. In a few remarks, Princess Anne revealed that a royal title long linked with Queen Camilla had been officially withdrawn. The title in question held more significance than most outsiders recognized. It was a ceremonial honor that bolstered Camilla's participation at crucial state ceremonies, ensuring that her name and position appeared alongside the king's in certain official settings. For years, it served as a subtle but obvious reminder of her position at the pinnacle of royal authority. Removing it was more than just a bureaucratic change. It was a purposeful remodeling of the monarchy's public image. The fact that Princess Anne herself initiated the decision added to its shock value. Traditionally, such choices are made directly by the sovereign or quietly by advisory bodies. However, this time, Anne acted in her capacity as a senior working royal, apparently supported by a tiny but important group who considered the title had become redundant and symbolically inappropriate. Palace watchers immediately saw the significance. Removing a title from someone in Camilla's position was unusual enough, but having it done by another member of the royal family, particularly the king's own sister, was nearly unprecedented in contemporary royal history. The whispers inside Buckingham Palace created a picture of precise timing. With the monarchy under increasing public scrutiny and polls revealing conflicting emotions about Camilla, the decision appeared to be more about optics than protocol. The official explanation underlined the monarchy's ongoing commitment to modernization, but few accepted it at face value. For seasoned royal analysts, this was a message pointing to deeper divisions within the House of Windsor. It wasn't just about changing ceremonial titles. It was about power, influence, and the implicit hierarchy that rules life within royal walls. And for Camilla, this was more than just an administrative entry in the court circular. It was a public takedown of something that had bolstered her authority for years, and the sting of who held the blade would never be forgotten. The conflict between Princess Anne and Queen Camilla has been festering for decades. Those who follow royal politics closely realize that, while both ladies live their lives under the constant scrutiny of public duty, their orientations to the monarchy could not be more different. Anne, the Princess Royal, has spent her life earning a reputation as one of the royal family's most hard-working members. She is known for her no-nonsense approach and almost militaristic adherence to her tasks, and she has little patience for what she considers to be superfluous pomp and personal indulgence. Camilla, on the other hand, has long been viewed, rightly or not, through the lens of her tortuous rise to the throne. Her relationship with the king, the shadow of Princess Diana, and her skillful handling of public opinion have always made her a more divisive figure. The tension between them became apparent in the early 2000s as Camilla's public profile began to grow. Anne, a veteran of royal service, reportedly objected to what she viewed as a lowering of standards to accommodate her brother's relationship. While she maintained an outward demeanor, insiders recall small instances, sharp remarks at formal meals, a deliberate lack of affection at joint appearances, that hinted at deeper feelings. These divisions solidified over time into what palace staff discreetly referred to as the Cold War. Anne continued to support a stripped-down, work-focused monarchy, while Camilla embraced her role as a softer, more socially engaged figure alongside the king. The removal of the title was not a unique occurrence. It was the culmination of years of hidden rivalry, a definitive effort by Anne to emphasize her view of the monarchy, one in which titles are acquired by service rather than inherited through marriage. And while it was given with the courtesy of royal formality, the underlying message was clear. In this family, duty comes above image, and Anne intends to enforce it. When the news reached her, Camilla was supposed to be examining plans for an impending state dinner. Her temperament apparently changed as soon as the announcement was made. One aide later described the mood as icy enough to freeze the room. The queen consort, who is always composed, couldn't hide the clenching of her jaw or the clipped tone that followed. In the quiet of her close circle, the inhibition disappeared. According to palace rumors, Camilla sought a rapid briefing from her senior advisors, inquiring as to how Princess Anne had obtained the power and the chutzpah to withdraw a title so closely associated with her public position. She wanted to know who had been notified in advance, and more significantly, who had chosen not to inform her. The embarrassment was terrible. Camilla's journey to the position of queen consort was defined by decades of public opposition, repeated comparisons to Princess Diana, and a delicate balancing act to win over both the press and the people. A title was more than simply ceremonial fluff. It was a symbol of legitimacy, an anchor that held her at the center of royal power. Everything wounded profoundly when Anne stripped everything away without even the courtesy of a direct conversation. Camilla adopted what insiders refer to as fortress mode in the days that followed, limiting her public appearances to those that were already booked and avoiding any occasions where she might run into Anne. She allegedly spent hours on the phone with trusted allies both inside and outside the royal family, determining if this was an isolated act of defiance or the first shot in a bigger attempt to undermine her dominance. The palace issued a carefully written statement, downplaying the change as part of routine ceremonial adjustments. But the anxiety behind the scenes was evident. Camilla recognized that in the court of public opinion, perception may solidify into reality overnight, and that if she appeared weak now, others would be emboldened to challenge her position. One person stated bluntly, "This wasn't just a title, this was a test. Camilla knows if she doesn't fight back, it won't be the last." In the complex world of royal politics, perception is frequently more valuable than actual authority, and in Camilla's case, perception has always been a careful balancing act. Princess Anne's last blow removed more than just a title. It signified to both insiders and the general public that the queen consort's position may not be as secure as it once appeared. Titles of the royal family are more than just ceremonial ornaments. They represent status, legitimacy, and power. Each one strengthens a member's position in the royal hierarchy, influencing how they are acknowledged, included, and respected in both public and private settings. Camilla's loss at the hands of her sister-in-law reverberated throughout that hierarchy. The immediate fallout was slight but significant. Court photographers noticed a change in seating arrangements during public events. Outside of the king's direct presence, social calendars began to reflect fewer joint appearances with top royal figures. Even the terminology used in official press releases appeared to shift away from her, with less acknowledgement of her participation in state or ceremonial concerns. In the press, the story began to solidify. If a senior royal like Anne could take such a dramatic action, it signified a growing acceptance, possibly even approval, of restricting Camilla's role. Commentators on royal matters analyzed every move, emotion, and scheduling change for signals that her power base was dwindling. Within the palace, the judgment had a chilling impact. Allies who had previously supported her projects were hesitant to come out too strongly on her behalf. The feeling was that associating too closely with Camilla in the current context would bring criticism, or worse, political isolation. That kind of reluctance may be fatal in royal politics, where maintaining influence frequently requires being at the heart of decision-making networks. Historically, the removal of a title has frequently signified a watershed moment in a royal figure's career. For some, it's the start of a steady decline in relevance, supplanted by newer, more popular characters. For others, it has served as the first chink in the armor, emboldening adversaries and inviting new challenges. Camilla, who is acutely aware of public opinion and the narrow line she has walked since entering the royal spotlight, recognizes this pattern all too well. The worry now is that the loss of this title would encourage those who have long questioned her standing alongside the king. If they perceive her to be weaker, they may feel more free to undermine her residual authority. One privilege, one role, and one public appearance at a time. And given the monarchy's long history, the transition from esteemed consort to marginalized figure can occur faster than anybody expects. The palace's formal answer may have been boring, but the public response was anything but. Within hours, social media feeds were flooded with commentary, memes, and side-by-side videos of Anne and Camilla from past royal engagements. The hashtags #TeamAnne and #DethronedCamilla started trending in the UK, with fans debating whether the move was long overdue or an appalling act of disrespect to the Queen consort. The mainstream media lost no time crafting the narrative. Tabloid headlines screamed "Royal Showdown," while more balanced sites focused on the constitutional implications of one senior royal taking a title away from another. Several renowned royal analysts thought that Anne's choice was intended to restore discipline and dignity to the monarchy, in a subtle shot at Camilla's frequently maligned public image. On the morning talk shows, panelists debated the optics. Some said that removing the title was the kind of modernizing the monarchy badly needed, demonstrating that no position was exempt from examination. Others said that the timing felt too personal to be entirely administrative, particularly given the well-documented animosity between Anne and Camilla over the years. Public opinion polls conducted hastily by major news outlets revealed a stark divide. While older respondents were more likely to see the move as harsh or unnecessary, younger audiences overwhelmingly supported Anne, seeing her as a protector of tradition and merit over inherited privilege. Inside the palace, advisors reportedly kept a tight eye on the coverage, noting with concern that Camilla's approval ratings had dropped in the immediate aftermath. While the king refrained from public comment, some viewed his quiet as tacit endorsement of his sister's decision, exacerbating the notion that Camilla was fighting this battle mostly alone. The court of public opinion did not reach a unanimous decision, but the harm had been done. Whether viewed as a triumph of royal accountability or a premeditated blow in a personal dispute, the episode proved one thing: the Princess Royal possessed the capability and the determination to make bold, decisive choices. And if she was willing to wield that authority against the Queen consort, no one in the House of Windsor could think themselves immune. Despite the palace's attempts to portray the episode as a routine adjustment, there's no disputing its seismic impact within royal circles. This wasn't a minor procedural issue. It was a daring, intentional act that struck right at the heart of royal hierarchy, and it came from one of the monarchy's most tenacious figures, Princess Anne. Camilla's humiliation endures. The loss of the title is a hurt, but the way in which it was removed by her sister-in-law without warning has left a permanent scar. It serves as a reminder that despite being queen consort, her authority is not absolute. Her position, however historic, is nevertheless dependent on the goodwill of people who have served the monarchy for much longer and are ready to act in its name, even if it means marginalizing her in the process. According to palace sources, the two women's relationship has gotten even colder in recent days. In public, they will smile, exchange pleasant remarks, and carry out their tasks without hesitation. Privately, the trust, if it ever existed, has nearly vanished. This is the type of schism that is difficult to reconcile because it stems from fundamentally opposing conceptions of what the monarchy should be. The move strengthens Princess Anne's reputation as a champion of royal tradition and discipline. For Camilla, it raises difficult questions about her long-term role, her power alongside the king, and whether others in the royal family may be inspired to take similar action against her. The House of Windsor has endured several scandals, rivalries, and internal conflicts, yet moments like this are unforgettable. They form part of the monarchy's live memory, with anecdotes whispered in corridors, examined by future historians, and ceaselessly disputed by royal observers. What is the most pressing question now? Is this the end of the matter, or the start of a slow, planned campaign to transform the monarchy's power dynamics? If Princess Anne can remove one title now, what will she, or others, remove tomorrow? What are your thoughts? Was Princess Anne acting out of loyalty to the crown, or was this a personal vengeance that had been planned for decades? Please share your ideas in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more breaking royal news, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter in this ongoing royal drama.